We're gonna have fighting words. I feel like I have never heard someone say this. You guys are coming for my throat. Hello my bookworms, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sydney and today's video will be going over your bookish hot takes. Unpopular opinions, things that you feel so strongly about but seem to be in the minority. And I will be reacting to them, giving my opinions, and just shedding some light, per se. So hey, what's up? How are you? I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for being here and hanging out with me for a little bit. I went out to Instagram and asked you guys to submit to me your bookish, spicy hot takes, unpopular opinions that you have about the book community and or just specific books in general. And today we are just going to read and react to them and see what is on y'all's minds. And there's quite a few. So we are going to scroll to the bottom and work our way up. This first one, we're gonna start off soft because I agree with this one. It is dog-earing is fine if it's your own book. I feel like this is a lukewarm take because I feel like that should be common sense, you know what I mean? If it's your book, do whatever the hell you want to it. It is your book, you paid for it. You can annotate, you could write in the book, you can tear a page out for all that I care. It's your book, you know? I mean, don't tear it out. But dog-earing, I'm a big fan. I like dog-earing. In fact, when I didn't have any like flags to annotate my book when I was reading The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas, I literally have a dog ear in like every single other page. Oh no, you all are gonna hate me. I'm exposing myself today. But look, like I didn't have any tabs and I wanted to remember the pages that I felt had a lot of good shit on it. So I dog-eared and I like double dog-eared on some of the page. I don't know, it's kind of tragic. I understand that this might be a little much. But I digress. I feel like dog-earing is okay as long as it's your book. I feel like you're a monster if you dog-ear like a library book or something. Don't do that shit. This one says, I have no desire to read a Taylor Jenkins Reid or Colleen Hoover book. Honestly, I've never read a Colleen Hoover book. I feel like I should. I have, I think, 2 books by her. I know I have Verity. Do I have the pink one with the flowers? You know what I'm saying? I don't remember what it's called. I don't even know what I have anymore because I need freaking bookshelves. But Taylor Jenkins Reid, man, you are missing out, I think, because I was never interested in her books until I read The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Absolutely phenomenal, and I love that book so much. It made me pick up Daisy Jones and the Six, which was originally on my like anti-TBR list. Like I never thought that I would read that book, but I read it. Everything I've read by not Colleen Hoover, by Taylor Jenkins Reid has been 5 stars. Every single book. I just think she is absolutely phenomenal at writing characters, and now I'm giving you like a review on her shit, and that's not what this is. I guess what I'm saying is I feel like you should try. But Colleen Hoover, I have no grounds to stand on. I have never read her book, so I don't know. And then there were 2 hot takes next to each other that says Colleen Hoover is overrated and Sarah J. Maas is way overhyped. Again, I have no grounds to stand on for Colleen Hoover because I have not read one of her books, but she is one of the most popular book authors on Booktube in the book community to my knowledge. So is she overrated? I'm not sure, but I know that she's popular. Sarah J. Maas is way overhyped. For this one, okay, I understand. I think that every time I've read a Sarah J. Maas book I've gone into it thinking like I have no idea what I'm about to get into. My expectations were low and I have had a great experience every single time. And let me remedy that. So my expectations were low when I started the ACOTAR series because I wasn't necessarily like interested in it, but the hype got to me and all of my friends were saying, no, you gotta read, like you gotta at least try. So I did, and I ended up having a great time. And now, as the series progressed, I literally love them so much. House of Earth and Blood is my favorite book. House of Sky and Breath, not that girl. I didn't love it. Contrary to my vlog's belief, the longer that I've sat with House of Sky and Breath, the less I have liked it. But I do understand that if the topics that Sarah J. Maas writes about doesn't interest you, it does seem extremely overhyped because she, again, like Colleen Hoover, is one of the most popular authors probably in the frickin' world. So I understand, but I'm a hoe. I still love those books. Oh, Cammy. Oh, Cammy. Cammy says Six of Crows is the worst book I have ever read. Ow. Ouch! Shh. It's okay. It's okay. You're wrong. I don't even know what to say as a retort. Because we all know that the Six of Crows duology is like one of my favorites ever and always will be. So, ow. But everyone's entitled to their own opinion. This one says, Book of the Month covers and spines are ugly with the logo. I feel like it's kind of an aesthetic though. With every single spine, you know, they have that little colored box at the top here with the Book of the Month logo. And like if they're sitting flat, not on my hand, they line up always like perfectly. Do I love the little box? I mean, no, probably not. I like a very artistically styled spine. Who doesn't love a good spine? Like the spine in This Close to Okay by Lisa Cross Smith. This is one of my favorite spines ever. It's stunning. But also, I feel like having a Book of the Month shelf would be really pretty. I will have one in my new house. I don't hate the little box of the Book of the Month, but I guess I don't like love it either. I'm kind of indifferent, but I mean, it's branding. I understand them. This one is The Guest List was predictable and The Hating Game was overhyped. So The Guest List is by Lucy Foley, and I don't read a whole ton of thrillers, but I did read The Guest List. And I feel like I kind of agree with you. I'm pretty sure I gave it like a 3.5 out of 5 on Goodreads. I felt like the atmosphere was done really well, and I did enjoy like the story progression. I felt like it was done pretty well, but I definitely did see it coming for the most part, or I wasn't as surprised as I thought that I would be, I suppose, by the end of the book. So I think that I sort of agree with you. And then The Hating Game was overhyped. Okay. This one's tough because I know that when I first read it, I really did have a great time reading it, but I know that it's a story that like I will never go back and reread. I know that it hasn't like lived in my mind rent free or anything like that, except for the fact that I do think about how it was in a vlog that I did, and it was Noelle's vlog. It was like, she is my idol, you know? I freaking love Noelle, and I wanted to love all of the books that she loves so much. So I wonder that if I read that book without the context of Noelle loving it, if I would have felt the same way. Because the longer the time has gone since I've read that book, I feel like the lesser that I love it. Ooh, this is a good one. This one is, whether or not I like a book is entirely dependent on my mood when I read it. I freaking love this. Okay, and I agree. I think that the mindset that you have going into a book will vastly change your experience on whether you like it or not. Granted, there are times I feel like that no matter what, whether you are in a great mood or a shitty mood, sometimes the context of a book will be bad regardless, or really good. But if it is like a book that has the potential to be swayed and you go into it thinking like, oh, I'm gonna just read this for like a good time. I'm gonna read this and just like enjoy my experience. You have a way better chance of loving that book rather than if you go in and say like, I really don't think that I'm gonna love this book. It's either going to be like it surprises you and you do love it, or you just look at everything that is happening within the book like apathetically, is that a word? You know, with like little interest, and you just like get bored because you don't care. So I agree wholeheartedly that mindset is everything if you enjoy a book or not. Okay, quite a few people have said Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo is overrated, and I know that I literally just talked about how much I love that book, so I feel attacked now. I feel very put on the spot. I don't understand this one. I don't get it. I feel like it was a great book, and I went into it with low expectations. I went into it not thinking that I was gonna love it, because I'm not a big Hollywood girly, you know? I'm not a huge reality, like movie star, Hollywood type person. So expectations were low, and I ended up literally loving every minute of that book. So I don't know what to say to any of you. Here's one. Reading with the dust jacket on is better than reading with it off. I feel like I have never heard someone say this. Like ever. Like 8 times out of 10, when I'm sitting down to read a book, I will literally always take off the dust jacket, put it down, and then lay back and read. Like it's just, nothing moves, because if you have the dust jacket on, it has potential to like slip out, you know? And then you gotta like hit it on your knee and like pat it down, and like it's more to keep track of with the dust jacket on. Granted, I guess maybe the feeling of it might be nicer than a naked hardback, but like then the corners get all messed up, you know? I feel like there's just too much to think about with a dust jacket on. I want to be in the story, not worried about my things. That one was interesting. I've never seen that before. The next one was short story collections for already existing series are stupid and I hate them. Are you calling out the new Scythe short story stories collection that is about to come out. I don't think that I know of any others, unless like Language of Thorns works for the Shadow and Bone trilogy. Why am I pointing at it like you care where it is on my bookshelf? It's like Vanna White. I guess maybe I could understand why someone might not like the short stories that are based off of a already established series. Maybe it's just like very redundant and going even deeper into the characters' lives, which is arguable of some people really loving that, wanting to spend more time with their characters, but maybe the short stories are redundant and not needed. But yeah, I don't think that I've read short story collections on an already established series, so I have no grounds to stand on. This next one, you already know that I agree with. It is, I found The Bear and the Nightingale really boring. We all know that I fell asleep, like literally fell asleep reading that book. I was listening to it on audio, fell asleep, woke up with the last 10 pages left, asked myself, should I go back and listen to the rest of it that I missed? Said absolutely not, finished the book, and I don't want to think about it ever again. But here I am revisiting it quite often on this channel because I haven't hated many books in my reading career, but I really did not like that book. I feel like this next one isn't necessarily a super hot take or unpopular opinion. I feel like a lot of you will agree with this. And it is the Shadow and Bone trilogy could have and should have been a standalone book. Again, that series was the first fantasy series I read when I was getting back into reading, so it was the perfect level of simple and the perfect level of interest for me that made me literally love it. So I hold that series in a very special place for that reason. But I do feel like if Leigh Bardugo made that trilogy into one like chunky fantasy, I feel like maybe it could have been a lot better, maybe. Like a little bit more concise. That sounds super cool and really interesting. So for this one, it's like, I kind of agree with you, but I also like will always hold that series special, but also like I see where you're coming from. This one is, I prefer ebooks over physical books. All the power to you. It couldn't be me. I struggle with ebooks so much. I really love being able to physically feel how much more I have left in a book, because when you get like close to the end, it's so satisfying feeling that like, oh my god, I only have like this much left. It's just really fun. I just, you know, I just love a tangible book. Always will. This one is, I'm all for people reading what they want, no judgment, but every time I see Harry Potter or JKR, I get angry. Honestly, literally same, and it's a damn shame. I hadn't read that series until I was an adult, and then I was halfway through, not even half, I was like a quarter of the way through the very last book in the series when like the major huge scandal came out like a couple of years ago, and I still haven't finished it. I just have not been able to pick it up and finish the last book in the series. Even though I do want to know what happens, like I still don't know what happens. But I can't like stomach it. I can't just bring myself to picking it up and finishing it. I agree. This one is, when people read a book in a series and don't immediately pick up the next one, how? For me personally, if I don't pick up the next book in the series right away, it's because I have a million other things to read for scheduled or secret TBRs. Like right now, this time in my life, TBRs are ruling my world. I feel like my reading hasn't been for myself for like 2 months now. At least. And it's upsetting. I feel like I need to knock that off. Because I'm the type of person that would love to binge read a series at once. Read nothing in between the other books and just like literally be in the world and nothing else. That is like peak enjoyment, in my opinion. So I'm with you. It's tragic not picking up the next book in the series right away. This one, ooh, Katie, we are going to fight. We're gonna have fighting words. She says, the cover of Hellbent, 9th House 2, is hideous and scary as fuck. I'm literally in love with it. It is absolute perfection, and I will hear nothing else. Questions are closed at this time. Oh my god. You guys are coming for my throat. This one is, Emily Henry's books are way overhyped. Disagree. Strongly disagree. She is literally one of my favorite authors. And in case you didn't know, one of my friends, her friend, is best friends with Emily Henry. So I'm like degrees separated by Emily Henry. And apparently my texts of fangirling, of realizing the situation, was screenshotted and sent directly to Emily Henry's phone. So she knows, she might not like care, but she knows somewhere that little me, loves her and loves her books. I got quite a few hot takes that said that Anxious People by Frederick Bachman sucked. And I literally just finished that book like 2 days ago. One person sent another one that said, because the dialogue and characters were flat, And I feel like I really liked Anxious People. I felt like the dialogue was actually really, really rich and really insightful. I really actually enjoyed Frederick Bachman's writing of his characters, and like it was almost like a character study of all these different types of people and their interactions with one another and what they're going through. I felt like the book was actually really beautiful. Maybe the story itself could have been a little bit more interesting or rich, but I actually really enjoyed it. I'm gonna end on one that I also feel strongly about and say with my full chest. I break almost every spine I read. It's more comfortable. It sure is. I support you so much. For example, you can see with my Akimef book that it's like slightly curved at the bottom because I went through every 100 pages and just like snapped this bad boy hard. Cause then it'll literally just, it'll stay open. Who doesn't love that? And plus, on a actual bookshelf, I feel like it looks like you actually read the book and experienced it. I am a big Spinebreaker fan. But a contradiction, I guess, is with Watch Over Me by Nina LaCour. I did kind of refuse to break this spine because it's so little. I think that with little paperback books, it's not that big of a deal to not break them, on purpose at least. Like, if it does break while I'm reading it, I'm not upset. But with a small paperback, I don't purposefully go through and break the spines. But if it was a big chunker, I definitely go through and break the spines. For sure. I could not get to every single one of them. There was quite a few I actually had to delete the post on my Instagram story because I was getting way too many. So I will do this again in the future. So if you didn't see yours, keep it in mind and you can submit it again. Hopefully I will get to it next time. But this was a lot of fun. Thank you so much for being here and hanging out with me for a little bit. If you are still watching, then leave the like sweaty, hot take guy, that one, like down below in the comments. And while you're down there, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. I always appreciate your support. And of course, be kind to one another and happy reading. Bye.